Okay, I'm on my phone again, since I forgot to bring my video camera, which is too bad, because it has much better zooming and focusing than my phone. But we're recapping the end. We've gone through kind of like couple of half-turn phases here. So I think originally in my last video we left off at the end of the 8:20 turn. We've now gone through the 8:40 turn and have completed movement for the 9 a.m. turn. And some changes. Overall, the board still looks largely the same. This left flank continues to just kind of dance around and stare at each other. The Cossacks made some threatening moves closer. My French cavalry there responded by stretching out their line a little bit more so they can bring all their numbers to bear. The 4th Corps 13th Division here is still sitting just outside Zakharino, and they've deployed a little bit more out of their regiment formation into kind of a defense in depth line. One of the 1st Corps divisions here, the 21st Division, has moved up. Or, I'm sorry, 1st Corps 3rd Division. I don't know how to read what these guys are, so something from the 1st Corps though. They've managed to get over across the Kolocha and up along the New Smolensk Road with some skirmishing infantry that's just about to, hopefully soon, drive the last of the Russian guns off of the heights overlooking Borodino. The French assault that kind of petered out, well, I shouldn't say petered out, but disastrously failed on the first assault, has now just moved into a standing and shooting battle, where the French were able to at least disorder one of those big Russian Jaeger regiments standing up there, so hopefully they'll be able to displace that line. The problem being that if that line gets displaced, there's a giant Russian Grand Battery waiting back here to blast to smithereens any French that try and advance through any potential Russian breakthroughs. More the same over here. This was from the initial French assault. These are just disordered units that are now standing and shooting at each other, most of them missing. Although there was a French breakthrough next to the Great Redoubt, which was helpful because that prevents the guns there in the Great Redoubt from changing their facing and getting flanking fire down the French line. The Italians continue to hide in a ditch along the Kolocha, as Italians are wont to do. Behind, moving into Borodino, I've finally gotten the Grand Battery underway and assembled to move through Borodino and either deploy on the plateau here behind Borodino, or depending on how the French can fare along the old Smolensk or the New Smolensk Road on the other side of Borodino, they may someday, God willing, be able to deploy along that road where they can actually be of more use. We'll have to see. Some of the French cav has now moved up and gotten closer to the battle around Borodino. Not really within any effective range, but at least close enough that should the Russians decide to do something with their so far unengaged units to the left of the Great Redoubt, there is some cav there that can exploit, as well as the Italians there to receive any potential assault into the French right, which is kind of hanging open there in front of the Great Redoubt. I've not advanced there, obviously, because those guns in the Great Redoubt can be pretty devastating. So we want to stay out of their range, or out of their radius of fire. And then there's also some more French cav from the 3rd Cavalry Corps now moving up that can either provide support on this far left flank or around Borodino, depending on where they're needed. In the center, finally a little action going on here. In fact, we can remove that. As the Grand Battery starts to inch its way forward into a line, and other units, you can see more of the Guard artillery closing into Grand Battery range. Ditto for the left battery here. And then Drouot is moving up the last of the Jean Guard artillery to to join in the Grand Battery. So hopefully, by the time they're all in position, I'll have 17 or 18 batteries that can then prolong forward and begin the grand bombardment of the Russian center. Over on the right, around Utitsa, we've got a 1st Corps division of infantry at the moment kind of screening out in front as cavalry, all the disjointed cavalry that had to move through this massive line of brush here is starting to move out to their proper places on the flanks, since Poniatowski's 5th Corps is now moving up the Old Smolensk Road and road column, where they will eventually deploy in behind this 1st Division infantry unit, and then begin the grand assault on the Russian left. All that is still probably, I would say, at least 4 turns away before any serious consideration to an attack happens, but you never know what can happen. So that's the overall look as of the 9 a.m. turn. More to come.